Said I'm so fly, just like the insect. Rocket over twin jet. Face to face with me, I already know you get a chin check. Fantastic, like my limbs
Hey,
stretch. Topic
I'm
of the
Flamo,
interest.
and
Those
welcome
who
to the
question me, I
ODDCAST.
gotta
I
give
come up with
them
cool
all
Hi.
people
respect. No, I'm
that
fresh and
live in
never
this odd
judging
world.
others like a
Yeah, this is an odd world, man.
And please tell the world who you are.
My name is Katrina. I am an actor, writer, singer from California, but I trained at NYU at the Tisch School of the Arts. So yeah, that's what I'm about.
Word, word, word. How's life going?
How's life going? Just in general?
Oh yeah.
Not oh yeah. It's good. I think that life is going well. I am somehow surviving my 23rd year of life, which
The
has
Jordan year.
yes, and like growing up, I always saw the posts, the captions. Oh, it's my Jordan year. But yo, then recently I've been seeing people like you survived 23, then you're stronger than most. Like 23 is the year of being in the trenches. And honestly, I feel more aligned with that than Jordan year, but I am still here.
That's funny.
So,
I feel like my Jordan year was pretty. Wasn't that COVID?
uh
That was COVID.
yeah, it was COVID.
Oh, forget it. My
I
Jordan
mean,
year
it
was
still
trash.
is COVID, but it was like quarantine.
Yeah, it was like the heavy, quarantine can't go nowhere.
Yeah.
I was homeless. Ooh,
Ooh,
that wasn't a good year. But we're not here to talk about me. We're here
right.
to talk about you.
Flamos had a hard knock life.
Yeah, yeah. And I guess I have some questions to ask you, and I would love for your awesome answers.
Okay.
And I guess my first question comes to what are some obstacles you're currently dealing with in your creative journey?
Hmm. Obstacles, schmobstacles.
Indubitably.
Indubitably. Um, I feel like for me, it's always the same struggle.
And what is that?
Um, the struggle of getting started with a new prospect.
Mm,
I think that for me, I am such a creature of habit in a way that if I'm doing something that I really enjoy doing, or if I'm doing something that I'm really proud of myself for, something creative, it's so easy for me to keep going. Like when I'm in the middle of it, when I'm feeling that pride, when I'm feeling stable and good and like confident in what I'm doing consistently. When I let my foot up off the gas for a second, it's hard for me to press down again.
mm.
It's hard for me to start things that I don't already have, you know, dedicated experience in being consistent at. But then when I do start and I'm consistent, I feel like on cloud nine. And I think that when I get in moments like I'm feeling now, of like, I have a lot of things I want to do, and I'm slowly getting into each of them. I'm like adding them on one by one. I kind of wish I could jump in, do like a cannonball into all of them. And that's kind of what I'm working to. But I think the thing that helps me get motivated through this problem that comes up with me is knowing how good it feels when I am consistent. That does inspire me to get back on the horse for sure.
No, that's fascinating. I feel like from my own experience, I've been noticing two major paths of how people want to tackle doing something
Hmm.
and getting back on the horse, and one of them includes another animal, which is eating the frog, which is what that means,
Huh?
right? It means
No.
doing the hardest task you could possibly do first, and that will
Hmm.
give you enough energy and release you from thinking that everything's gonna be hard because you did the hardest thing. So everything
Hmm.
else is easier. In the other hand, this is what I do. Easy wins. I get up and I do my bed and I make breakfast and I already feel like I did something. And
Hmm.
having a little checklist that tells me you did this, you did that. Okay, you're doing pretty good. You're doing pretty
I
good.
really like that. I think I really like that thought process that you have. For some reason, whatever about the frog, that feels like it resonates with me.
You don't
Like
have to eat the frog.
I might want to eat the frog. I'm not gonna hold you.
Hippy hoppy. Hop on my puppy.
Stop. I've never had. Never mind. People always talk about frog legs. I haven't tried that.
Sounds badass
Anyways, no,
though.
leave the froggies alone. But no, honestly, that sounds like something I should try. Like, I feel like I am the type where it's like, okay, do the hardest thing or do the thing that you've been fearing this whole time.
Mm,
Do the thing that you have been procrastinating, dude. So I have anxiety. So it's like, do the thing you've been procrastinating and it takes 5 minutes, right? And I
mm,
think that that more works with me. I just need an accountability partner to be like,
mm.
girl, do that thing. Oh my God, look, it's done. Everything else is easier after that.
Have you thought of maybe grabbing somebody else in your field and be like, hey girly, I don't know what you're doing, but we could both do this together.
Yeah,
When you feel
actually.
low, I feel high. I'll help you. When I feel low, you feel high. You help me.
I actually have
Kind of
done
like
that.
working out buddies.
Yeah, shout out to my best friend, Adejo K,
That out.
uh, who is, they're awesome, but is a TikTok creator and I mean, so much more than that. But I remember one time going over their house and being like, I have this thing to do. I haven't posted this. I want to post it, not for anyone else, just for me. Like, I really want a recap of Comic Con. And then they were like, bitch, sit down and do it. And I was like, prayer.
Eating the frog.
Yes, eating up that frog.
Okay. If you could
So,
put it in simple words, what is that advice that you're trying to give people for getting back on the horse that has worked for you?
a quote that I've held on to for a minute that I
Mm.
want to listen to more, which is feel the fear and do it anyway.
Feel the fear and do it anyway.
Do it anyway.
Some people might say that that fear is kind of symbolic.
Here's my thing, right? I think that there are some valid fears in life, a lot of them.
Hmm.
I'm not saying to be unsafe, but what I am saying is that in my mind, as someone who does have anxiety, right?
Yeah.
Like TM diagnosed, I feel
You heard it
like
here first.
you heard it here first, folks. But a lot of my fears are mostly in my head. And to be able to recognize what is a because your body can't really register that, right? It just feels like flight, feels like fight or flight, regardless of if it's like impending doom or like me sending an email.
Like emotional.
Right. But it's my job to make accommodations for myself to try to understand more of how I work and understand, okay, I won't die if I do this thing I've been pushing off and to do it anyway. You know what I'm saying?
That's what's up.
It's definitely more difficult than the slogan itself, but at its core, it's really, really pivotal for me.
Feel the fear. I mean, I totally hear you. I'm with you in feeling the fear, but in my own creative adventures, my many creative adventures.
Ah, yes.
Oh yeah, 25. I love so much.
I mean, at least your brain's fully developed.
Is it?
Is it, folks?
But in many of my adventures, I have been almost avoidant of fear and almost lean towards the bliss of adventure. But I'm realizing now that my life as a creative has been really hard when you have things in stake to not feel the fear. When you have things that are in
No, you're so right.
things that believe in you, things that could go south.
But here's my other thing, right? Because I really hear you. Like, I totally hear you. But I feel like those things will always be there. Either you take the safe way your whole life or you gamble. And like I'm saying, like I said, be safe before with the fear thing. Like, don't be dumb and like definitely have savings if you're like, oh, I'm gonna like quit my job and start. Like, yeah, definitely do what you need to do to feel like you will not be just like shit out of luck. Yeah. However, like a lot of the things that I want to do that I push off, like would help the things that the things where people rely on me are like I have things that I need to make sure I can still handle. Me doing the things that make me scared will help in those situations.
You mean like in long term or?
I suppose, honestly, short term in the world we're living in and long term, like things can happen quicker than you think. And me wanting to do something and never doing it is one, not going to change the situation I'm in. I mean, it might stay the same stable way it's always been. But the thing is, it's affecting me every day. I feel like less of myself when I'm not doing something that would make me feel proud, make me feel confident, make me feel like I'm living a life that I want and that I have control over my life. If I'm always pushing back and, you know, procrastinating the things that would make me feel just like the bad bitch I am,
like alive.
Am I really helping myself? Am I really helping the stable parts of my life? Or would they be amplified if I did take that risk, which could only really be up, right? In terms of like, I'm talking about more so creation, right? And content and auditions and like stuff like that. Me doing those things, it's either my life's going to stay the same or get better. So what am I really scared of having a negative impact on the other things that I'm concerned about, really?
You said something interesting. You said that things could happen faster than you expect.
They can.
Can you give me an example of something that has happened faster than you expected?
Oh, hell yeah. I remember so there's a site called Actors Access where
Shout out to Actors Access, question mark?
Yeah, she could get a little shout out.
Little what's up?
I'll give her a little.
How you doing?
A little, you know.
A head nod in the street.
A little head nod. She cute or whatever. I do be talking crap about her, but I appreciate everything she's done for me. But no, yeah, basically it's a site where a bunch of, roles or, things are posted and you can decide to opt in and audition for it and choose your material that you think goes with that job and that character. Not only is it used for acting, but I have found a few modeling gigs from there. And I remember one day I kind of came across this modeling gig for this concealer brand. And I remember that I was kind of behind that week on Actors Access. So by the time I got to it, it was like submissions end tomorrow. And I was like, oh, yo, like, let me get on it, right? So I ended up submitting for it last minute. And I was like, didn't think anything would come of it because as an actor, a lot of things don't come of things that you submit for. It's just a fact, right? But you always need to keep your numbers up, keep that probability up, and submit to as much as you can.
Quantity over quality? Or
quantity and quality. Always quality. But anyways, long story short, TLDR, I ended up submitting to it. I ended up getting a call back.
Booyah.
And I didn't expect that. So by the time I get the call back, it's still an at-home callback where they want me to send in kind of a video talking about my skin, talking about products, whatever, my face, no makeup, my face with makeup, whatever. And that callback was due even faster turnaround than my initial submission. That callback was due like in 6 hours. And I had like a lot to do that day. And I remember thinking like, okay, I'm gonna do this if I can, but like I'm mad tired and I'm really busy and I don't really have time to like do my whole face just for this 5-second clip of me with makeup. You know what I mean? Fair. And it was a lot. I ended up doing it. I ended up getting it 5 minutes before the deadline. Even faster than the turnaround for the callback, I hear, okay, we want to see you in person, right? And so this whole kind of journey at this point in this example has been me feeling like every submission, every part of the way for this spot has been last minute and honestly possibly not worth it. And then I end up doing it and then it's like coming back tenfold. And then like just to let y'all know, the in-person went really well. They didn't go with me, but I loved meeting all the people in the room and they loved me and it was awesome.
Honestly, it's the fact that you got there so fast.
Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, for sure.
You said 6 hours and then
dude, it was crazy. Right for me initially submitting to having 2 callbacks both at home and in person, I'd say it was like 30 hours.
Do you think like as an actor, of course, a lot of people say it's a numbers game. It's a numbers game. But I also believe that as a creator, it's about how many of your projects you will become proud of. How many things do people see that they relate to you with? And not all of them are going to be home runs, but it matters when they are home runs.
I completely agree. And also, you never really know which one will be when you're doing it, right?
Exactly. You know all the stories of people saying like, I put 100 hours into this YouTube video and nobody saw it, but then I put 2 minutes into this other.
Right, and it randomly goes viral.
Guess
yeah.
What?
Yeah.
There's not an exact math to this. And sometimes I feel like as creatives, we put so much emphasis on being perfect and making it the perfect thing and having, like I said, 100 hours.
Oh, God.
But sometimes the best art comes from letting go.
I mean, look, you're definitely preaching. Like,
Preacher?
Whoa. Preach, preacher. Ah. Wake up out of your sleep. Wake up. Okay. I completely agree. I actually had that realization this year. I, before this, didn't know I was a perfectionist. Apparently, that's been ruining my life. You know what I'm saying? Don't be a perfectionist, kids. I shout into the ether. Do not do it. It's a trap. Don't get addicted.
That's true.
It's a trap. It's stupid. Ain't nobody care. Ain't nobody looking at all the small things that you think you care about, girl. Put out the content.
Let me say this right
Dummy.
now.
That's me beating myself up.
The Mona Lisa has a million
It's ugly. It's ugly. She ain't even smiling for real.
He has a million imperfections.
Yeah.
And you can't tell. I guess with all of this, and you talking about, honestly, you sound extremely resilient in the things that you do and the work that you have been doing as an actor. I guess what keeps you going? It's tough, man. Like shit, making art is tough.
More than tough. Yeah.
It almost seems impossible in the society.
To be clear, it is impossible. It's impossible.
Censor that.
No, keep it in because it is. I think there has to be a certain level of you being kind of insane. And I know that people say that, but I'm actually so serious. And here's the thing, I'm bad at being delusional. And I'm talking about delusional like TikTok, like delusional, like not a bad thing necessarily, but like, oh, be delusional and like stop caring. It's really kind of combating perfectionism, right? Of like, um, just actually have the crazy wild belief that all your dreams will come true and live that way every day, even if they aren't true. And that will help them be true. Um, as like really falling into that belief in yourself. You don't understand how much power that has. And I think that like it is impossible. And I think that because it's impossible, honestly, to be a Viola, to be on the screen, to be an Academy Award, Oscar winner, all those things, to have that kind of reach and be a household name is not common. And even amongst actors, it's a small percentage of actors who are even at that level, right? And even people who are represented in our union status, like the majority of us are not at that level. And we feel fulfilled in that. You do projects, you do things that matter to you, you still get paid, right? You can sustain your life, but a lot of people don't make it to like my ultimate dream. And I think that also part of me deciding to chase this has been me coming to terms with the fact that I'd be happy regardless. I'd be happy if I made my wildest dreams and I'm a household name, or if I'm doing work that I just really care about that can sustain me and I get to act every day. I don't care. You know what I mean? I mean, I do care because that's my dream, but I don't care because I would feel genuinely satisfied either way because it's what I like to do. And what's kept me going is kind of the belief, the unwavering and mostly delusional belief of it's really not if, but it's definitely when. Like me asking that question of like, well, if this girl, I know who I am. I have star power. I'm talented. I'm trained. You don't have to be trained, but it helped me with my talent at least, right? And I'm very confident in what I bring to the table. I really am. And I really feel like it's me waiting on my time. And if you have that kind of understanding, then you have to be consistent. You have to keep going for it because then if you don't, that's when it becomes an if because it's like, well, you just can't get cast if you're not submitting. Like it's not. But if you are and you're doing the work, you're gonna get noticed. Like, and you make yourself get noticed too with the things that you create, the things you decide to opt into produce for yourself, or your French products that you decide to take part in. Like, we make our own name for ourselves, and I think that it's helpful for me to also see those things coming to fruition. That's always inspiring.
Word. We make our own names for ourselves, and also no name shout out. That concert's coming soon. All right.
No name. Love her.
In addition to that cleverly placed plug, it goes back to quantity.
It really is quantity.
It's not. I'm not saying 100 hours every single time that you have a submission. No. But what I'm saying is, if you see a submission and you think you're not gonna be good for it, submit to it regardless.
And listen, you don't
know what could happen.
You really don't, and that's kind of what I was getting at with the modeling thing, and I felt that way about a lot of the acting things I've submitted to, where I've gotten so close, so many callbacks. That's like, just confirm your availability, you will be on screen, and then also like just like the job market that's not creative based, right, and like corporate jobs don't be getting back to you. Can you imagine me getting the email after multiple callbacks and just confirm your availability and you might be on this network show and never hearing back ever? Like, it's crazy, but that quantity is what you need at the end of the day. And my name and my face and my skills are still on those people's minds, whether they went with me or not.
Amen. Can you imagine a society where if we just don't want to deal with something, we could just like, I don't know, randomly disappear? Maybe like in dating, maybe like job wise. Imagine a world like that.
That would be crazy. That's basically just ghosting to the craziest extent.
That was my point.
Oh. Well, don't be a ghost.
Don't be a ghost, Danny Phantom.
Don't be a ghost. But yeah.
I guess you mentioned these people that are out there like Viola Davis.
Viola, if you're listening, if you found this podcast somehow, some way,
jump in.
I am your daughter. I've taken a DNA. No, I'm kidding. No, I really do admire her work so much. I think that she's a powerhouse. More than that, like the way she can tap into her emotions never makes me feel. I've never felt more understood than when I watch her portray someone with their own vulnerability. She does such a good job at being, for lack of a better word, relatable, but it's really beautiful.
That's awesome.
Yeah, she's great.
you could see these big stars and still find yourself, relating to
Girl,
their
because they
skills.
just like me.
Indubitably.
They're just like all of us.
Oh yeah.
Because when I know that when I'm up there, and like I said, it's a win, right?
Mm.
I'm gonna just be me with like a great contract. Like
It
it
shows you.
doesn't change who I am.
Shows you with a gold chain.
With a gold chain.
Yeah. Like talking about inspirations and people that we look up to.
Inspiración.
Inspiración. I guess I have a
Vamos a
question.
hablar en español.
No. No, en
No.
esta podcast, por favor.
Por favor.
Por favor.
Please.
Looking at these celebrities and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? What do you want? What do you don't want? What do you not want?
The next 5 years.
And what will happen if it's not there and maybe it takes longer?
Yeah. That's a lot to ask.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I think that understanding that it's not an if but a when has made me so comfortable, almost in a bad way. Let me explain, to where I'm like,
please explain.
Not thinking about, oh, what do I want in the next 5 years, and it doesn't feel like my fulfillment or happiness would be contingent on achieving it in the next 5 years, because I feel like this can easily be a long haul. And I might be one of those people. Like, I just saw Sterling K. Brown at CultureCon LA, and he was talking about him, and he gave great advice. But you know how he kind of had his first major role in his 30s, and like I'm like, that could easily be me, right? I also really, really yearn for all of my goals to be reached in the next 5 years, or at least to have a very big, like, I don't know, kind of indent in like what I want. And I think that maybe it's because it's not if but when mindset, and oh, it could take a long time, and coming to terms with that, and also part just fear that none of this will work, right? And like, I've been talking about the delusion. That is a choice, and it's not easy to actually do and practice with yourself. It's so easy to be so scared that this is all a waste of my life and time, and that everything is just too oversaturated. And it's not even about my skill, but more about like, okay, but I'm not going to make it, right? I think that because of those factors, I get really nervous thinking about my 5-year plan, thinking about what I want in the next 5 years. But if I could be honest and vulnerable at least at this conversation, I have huge dreams for the next 5 years. I feel like if I let myself fall into them, I'll be so disappointed if they aren't reached. And I think that's why I don't want to. But I would love to I've always wanted to be a part of a series with a lot of seasons, and for my cast and just crew to become family. Like when I watch things like Modern Family, I'm like, that is such a goal for me to be in a contract now. No shade, but I don't know about Riverdale, right? Where it's like a long contract, and then like the writing goes down, and then like they're literally like, "Let me out of here, please! I'm trapped." No, please. And then like the power of lesbianism saves the world, and like honestly, that's real.
Hey, that is real.
No, honestly, that's the realest thing about that show. But and then them ending up in a quad. Like, please, the writers. But no, like a show, and supporting the strike, give the WGA and SAG everything they need, because good writers, a crew and cast that feel respected, and have the funds to fully commit themselves to their craft because they're living well, right? And
not
are and are able to sustain themselves. Like, that is what makes a beautiful set culture. That is what I want in the next 5 years, to be on a show, to be cast as a regular, where I get to grow with my character and grow with my cast and become family. That's what I would want in the next 5 years, to either be a couple seasons into that or be cast as that. Like, that'd be great. And I love movies, and that is definitely like number one dream, is to be starring in amazing films. But I share that same love for theater and TV. Whatever happens first, I don't have a say. But I'd say in the next 5 years to have like a recurring role on a series.
That'll be awesome.
Yeah.
Has there been things that has changed and maybe you want to explore? Have you ever considered maybe this is a family you want to build, like a studio, creating your own things? making your own family and growing with them.
What if you let me answer the question?
Oh yeah, you can go ahead. Please answer the question.
Yeah, damn, nigga. Ooh, inward. Um, I do have a goal for that. I don't know. If there were ever a studio that, or if there were ever a production company that I was helping to run in any way, I would definitely want it to be with friends and you and our friends, and like I would want it to be very collaborative. I don't think that my dream is to own or run a production
Hmm.
company by myself, like at all. Actually, that doesn't really call to me. I think the thing that is coming up in the next 5 years that I would really want that I didn't want before is maybe dropping an EP.
What is it? Do you have names for this EP? Any type of names? Maybe like I don't know.
No, I've been thinking about something for a couple years about the name, but I'm not going to drop it on this podcast. So, but I definitely like have always loved singing. I've always sung. I don't remember a time before I sang. If you ask my sister Samantha, she also can't remember a time before I sang. She's telling me to shut the hell up. But that's because that's that hater vibe.
Not
Because
the
I really
shut
can't
the hell
spit. You
up.
know what I'm saying? Like my friends hate bring me to karaoke. Okay,
Mm.
no, I'm getting annoying. But genuinely, I love singing and I'm good at it. And I feel like I never had it in my dreams because it felt too unrealistic. Like I'm already going for acting. Like I only have so much capacity for like, me wanting to excel creatively and like have my biggest dreams fulfilled. Like to the and until it really does start feeling okay, you're actually delusional and like it's concerning, right? Like I felt like there's only room for one dream, but I've been singing longer than I've been acting. And while I love acting with literally everything in me, singing is literally my home.
Hmm.
It's who I am. Like,
Interesting.
and you know that. I
Yeah.
literally, it's in everything I do. I literally am singing around the house all the time. It's
So
a passion for sure.
no, that's dope. That's dope. I mean, I'm gonna be real with you. I don't think it's delusional. If you
Oh
want
my
to
God.
sing and act, I don't think it's crazy. If anybody wants to paint and then make a movie, I don't think it's
Double threat
delusional.
because
That is
I
triple
definitely
threats.
struggle with some choreography.
But I don't think it's crazy. I think it's finding a way that you could live in the society and
Mm,
make make your bread, do whatever you need, and also keep your integrity because that's an important thing that we don't want to lose as creatives. And I
yeah,
mean, many creatives don't want to lose who they are as a creative to big bucks. So it's a balance, and that usually happens
I
when
hear you.
you have multiple things people want to use all of them. I
Here's
have a
my
question.
thing. I'd like to interrupt before your next
Oh, hit
question.
me.
Would you like to hear a little rendition of Pound Town by Sexy Red? Just to kind of get an understanding of my vocals.
Do it. Do it. Sexy Red, we need tickets.
Sexy Red, if you hear this, you're that girl, okay?
And that's that rendition. Thank you, everybody.
Wait. Pound Town just left Pound Town.
My coochie pink, my booty hole.
My Gucci pink, my booty hole brown. Where the niggas I'm looking for the hoes. Stop playing, nigga. Come suck a bitch toes.
Wow.
Pound Town just left Pound Town.
I guess we're also coming up to the end of our
Whoa. Oh
interview.
my gosh, no.
I wanted to ask you, yeah, can you tell me a role that you got as an actor, and how you got it?
Yeah. Huh. I'm inclined to talk about the time that I was cast as Catherine and Tammy of the Shrew.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me.
I really cherished that time in my life. I was training at NYU. At that point, I was training at Stone Street Studios. Um, but I had already had my foundational theater training at the Atlantic Acting School with, great profs and all that. And essentially, Shakespeare in the Square, which, was, a collective through NYU, we're going to put on their new show. And I remember hearing about it and I was like, you know what? My time at NYU, I've been training nonstop. I've done group performances. I've been a part of an ensemble. I haven't like led a production. And I was thinking about how I really wanted that. And I also was thinking about how this was Shakespeare and I didn't have much experience reciting Shakespeare. Um, I feel like a lot of us Black folk don't. I feel like that could be more embedded into our training. Ah, I'm saying a little too much because I don't know. I feel like there's also a lot of new things to explore other than Shakespeare. But I will say I had like a Shakespeare teacher when I was training at Atlantic who was literally pivotal and she was amazing and she was a Black woman and she really made Shakespeare feel like it was today and we just ate up all the scenes in that class.
Mm.
Anyways, so this was following that semester and I think I felt like I had a little bit of a foundation in Shakespeare. And I was like, okay, let's get into it. Like, what's the vibe? And so I remember leading up, like I had been like, you know what? Like I've auditioned for a few things at Tish. I haven't led anything. I know I'm good. What can I do to really solidify that this is gonna happen? It's not, oh, I hope I get this role. It's, oh, I'm gonna be Kat. And I hadn't worked for anything at that point the way I worked to get this role.
Okay.
I immediately memorized the ending monologue from Taming of the Shrew, which if you've seen the play,
It's pretty good.
it's controversial. I think that it's well written for what it was trying to convey. I think that you can find a lot of other meanings in it, which is the director of our show put a whole different spin on
Yeah,
it.
sorry, I was thinking of yours.
Very modern.
I'm uneducated
Yes.
and I didn't read your stuff.
Yeah, it was. I really liked our rendition. But it's just long. It's a long speech, and it's very Shakespearean text, and cadence, and I would just was not used to that. So I really gave myself the time. I gave myself the weeks to memorize this and prepare. I'm someone who, a lot of actors are cocky. Oh, I can memorize it in a day. Sure, but is it good? You know what I mean?
Cocky
Is it
as
slightly
fuck.
leaving your brain? Is it, So I wanted to give it more than enough time. And once I memorized it, I had a whole other week before the audition where I would just recite it to myself. I remember one time I was walking with you and we were kind of by the Flatiron building and I sat down and I said, "Can I practice this monologue?" And you got it on video because you were just like, yeah, like perform it to the camera. And I did. And that was only one example of me practicing and rehearsing, really trying to find the deeper meaning and who Catherine was and what that monologue would mean to me, Katrina as Catherine. Um, and to really stand firm, I just remember feeling like I wanted Kat to be a very grounded character. My rendition had to know who she was. And when I went into that audition, it was great. I read a couple of roles, but I clearly was there for Catherine. And I got called back for Catherine, and they had me and this other girl, and I had to read, chemistry reads with Petruchio's and all that. And by the end, they were like, literally, I gave my monologue, and the director, who I still think about, she's great. She literally was like, "You're our Catherine."
Ooh.
Literally directly after I finished my monologue. And we had to do our final auditions and callbacks in front of all the other people who had been called back. So it was like the rest of the cast of different characters in the cast that I would be working with if I got the role, and they were all watching me too. And just looking at everyone, they just looked so awe-inspired by my performance. And like I tried to not let it take me out of it because I was just like feeling so loved and like appreciated and talented. But I finished it strong. I didn't mess up. I did it exactly as I practiced. I'd given it the time to feel so confident in it. And to hear immediately from the director that they saw it in me and that it's me, no question, was something that I still take a lot of pride in. And I think that that showed me the kind of work ethic and intentionality that I have to approach any other character that I really want to make sure it's in I am getting this, not I hope, right? Is being able to put that work behind it.
Wow.
Because if you don't put that work behind it, it's like unfounded for you to be like, I'm getting it. Then you're just annoying and like pretentious, right?
Yeah.
Put the work.
Work.
And I think I found in that moment that that's exactly what that meant for me.
Wow. Well, thank you. No, honestly, that was a dope story.
Thank you.
I really
It
enjoyed the
was
process.
honestly such a fun time. We performed in Washington Square Park over the course of a few days. Um, I remember thinking that the digital poster they mocked up and created and that was being sent around was so cool. They modeled her after me, and it was like this black girl. It was like a silhouette style, but she's a black girl with a curly ponytail. And I just remember feeling like, wow, I'm really the head of this project. And so many people popped out to support me. So it was really cool.
That's dope. That is so dope.
Yeah.
Thank you again Katrina,
Oh my gosh, no
for
more questions?
no more questions.
Oh my gosh,
I mean,
boo.
I'm so you did such a great job with these questions. I feel like I don't know. I just know you so much better.
I've had such a good time.
You had a great time?
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming along.
Of course.
I had a blast. Thank you for your perspective, friend.
Yeah.
And now you have, a few seconds to plug whatever you want.
Oh
what
my
are you gonna say? What are you gonna put out there?
First I want to put out there that I'm really excited. This film that I've been working on, it's a short film called City of Dreams. It premieres September 23rd at the Union Square Regal Theater. I'm so excited. That movie theater was like my go-to all of college. So to be able to be in this film festival, see myself on the big screen, and be so proud of the result and the cast and the story of City of Dreams, I'm so excited for my film debut. So get tickets through the New York Latino Film Festival if they're still available. Also, I'm just really excited because I am also filming a different proof of concept. I'm filming 2 other proof of concepts by the end of this year that I can't talk much about. And also, I'm really excited to just be back in my audition bag, submitting to all these places of rep. If you guys know anyone who is looking for representation, definitely send them my website.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
And I'll catch you odd people later.
Oh my gosh, in an odd world.